Today, I will be doing a review of Steel Vengeance. Steve is a ride that many say is the best coaster in the world, and it makes sense. The 200-foot menacing structure is insane from start to finish, and I think that it is very, very good. But the best coaster in the world? I don't know, we'll see later in the review, but let's begin. Let's start with the entry experience, which is really underrated and the best at Cedar Point easily. You have to walk the 1.5 miles to get to the back of the park, and the coaster has its own little plaza on the other side of the railroad. You feel very isolated since you can't see any other rides or anything. It's just you and the ride, and it's massive, so menacing right there with the big sign and just the hundreds of pieces of wood right in front of you. But you travel underneath the ride to get into the queue, which is very, very cool. There are sections where you stand directly underneath the ride during inversions, and it feels like you're dangerously close to the track. But since the main queue is in the middle of the actual ride itself, you can do a full 360 seeing all of the wooden structures, all the elements, and get pretty close to many of them as well. But you continue throughout the whole thing, eventually getting right underneath the final break, and you can see and hear the riders right above you, and it's so surreal, and it gets you hyped up for the ride. But before you actually get on the ride, you gotta put your stuff into a locker, which is very easy and free, which is awesome, and you don't have to spend any money. After that, you go through metal detection, have a little bit more left in line, and then you're at the ride. But you sit down, let the operator put the lap bar down for you since you're not allowed to, and they will yell at you if you pull it down, so just don't do it. You get your restraint put on you, and you are ready to begin your ride on Steel Vengeance. Alright, let's get into the ride elements and the layout of this ride, which is so phenomenal. You slide out of the station, hit a turnaround, and hit 3 little hills that aren't really much, but have a little bit of airtime surprisingly. And the fact that you get airtime before the actual lift is cool, but it's not insane all things considered. Then you climb the 200-foot lift hill, and this is one of the best in the park, and I would say it's right next to Millennium Force for being the second best in the entire park. From the top, you can get some great views of the water to the left, and to the right, you can take a gander across the entire park and see some amazing views, specifically of Frontier Town. But after taking the views, you fall down the 90-degree drop that launches you into the atmosphere. This is such a good drop, and was the steepest RMC drop at its opening. It's just so solid and has some amazing ejector airtime and is a great start to the ride and gets you ready for the ride that you have ahead of you. At the bottom, there is a super small airtime hill, and it's alright at best. It doesn't really have any airtime, it kind of just pushes you up slightly. Not a waste of space, but if this gave you a ejector pop, that would have been amazing. Then you hit my personal favorite element of the ride, the top hat. This thing is amazing and a top 5 element that I have ridden, period. The airtime is so strong, it can legitimately hurt your legs. It's so strong, combine that with the sustainability. Being up there for a good 4 seconds, it's incredible. And there is no banking on this thing either, so you're being slightly pulled to the left. It's just elite in every facet. Next, you fall down and rise back up, start getting some airtime, and then you are suddenly thrown to the left and get some amazing airtime at this point as well. The transition from going straight to the left gives you an insane amount of airtime, and I'm surprised that nobody did these before RMC, because Outer Banks are just phenomenal and legit one of the best creations in coaster history. I'm being so real. Some people say that the Outer Bank is the best element in the park, but for me, it's a close second. Still phenomenal, still amazing, still elite. Every single different descriptive word that you could put it. Then you fall down and hit a double up-esque element where you get a good pop of airtime. Nothing crazy here, it's just a quick pop of some solid ejector airtime, but still packing in that airtime whenever they can. It's just amazing. Next up is another elite element and my favorite inversion of the ride, the 0G roll, but it is slightly different and unusual. Instead of the normal 360-degree roll, it's more like 450 degrees, and it is majestic, it is crazy. It's so flowy, has a great 0G feeling, and I love the extra rolling on this thing, and just looking up into the sky is just a beautiful touch. After that, you roll over the lift hill, which is cool, and hit a little wall stall. Usually this element is pretty mediocre, but when the ride is flying, it gets some great sideways airtime, which is awesome, and really adds to an underrated part of the ride. After that, you get to another inversion, being the 0G stall. This thing is a close second for the best inversion on the ride, and it is well-deserved. You get to the stall and start falling down towards the ground like you usually would for a normal roll-down drop, but at the last second, it flips you back up with some insane whip. It's easily the whippiest part of the ride, and the sensation of just being ripped back upwards in a snap of a finger is so fun. Very fun. It's incredible. Then you get to the double down element that has another great ejector pop. It's basically like the double down in the exact same type of airtime, It's just solid overall. Then you rise up into another double up into the mid-course. Both airtime pops have some good ejector to them, and that's why people say that this thing has the most airtime in the world. They can just pack so much into it. Airtime moment after airtime moment after airtime moment, and it's such a good first half. And to show how long this ride really is, the first half is about the same length as Iron Gwazi in ride seconds, about 45 seconds, and you still have a full second half, which is just nuts to think about. But you get to the infamous mid-course drop, and when the mid-courses aren't hitting, it's one of the best parts of the ride, but when it does hit, the second half slows down slightly, and the drop-off isn't as good. After that, you get to another quick double up, which has some of the sharpest airtime in the park, that just ejects you up so quickly, and it isn't really sustained, but for the pure power and rawness, it's pretty good. You rise up into another part of the ride that a lot of people love, and it's this weird hill that takes you into the structure of the ride. It starts by going up like a normal hill to the right, but at its apex, it sharply drops you to the left, giving some good ejector. And the direction change is so sudden and unexpected, it creates a great head chopper with the wood above you as well. Very fun. Then you get into the massive track underneath the wooden structure, and this part is super fun, and some say that it's even better than the bigger elements in the first half. You hit a overbank, then fly into a 0G roll. This is probably the worst inversion on the ride, but it's still a very standard 0G roll and still a quality inversion. You fly back out into the light, hit some small airtime hills that have more quick pops of ejector, and some people say that the second half gets too repetitive with the small hills, but for me, personally, not a problem. You then rise into a wall saw with some more great sideways ejector airtime. After that, you get to the final inversion of the ride, a 0G roll that is slightly better than the first one since it's slightly slower than the others, creating some unusual sensations, which I enjoy a lot. Then you hit the final stretch of airtime hills that just overloads you with airtime. It's not really a creative way to end the ride, but it's still an amazing way to end the ride that has the most airtime in the entire world. After the final hills, you hit the brakes, and that ends your ride on the incredible RMC Steel Vengeance. Overall, this ride is incredible. It is insanely long, being about 1 minute and 30 seconds in total ride time from the start of the drop to the final brakes. And it doesn't sacrifice from the ride's intensity and the best moments, since it still has some of my favorite airtime moments, being so sustained with that great ejector. They're on some buttery smooth track, and for above average inversions, and you have easily one of the best coasters ever created, even if the ending can get repetitive. Overall, Steel Vengeance is a 10 out of 10, and is my personal number 1. Thanks for watching. Tell me your thoughts on Steel Vengeance. I think it's a modern masterpiece in my eyes. And other than that, have a good day.